Welcome to Thinking West. I'm Christian, and today I want to talk more about the great books of the Western world, but more specifically, how to use the Syntopicon. So when Hutchinson and Adler, the heads of the team there at Britannica, undertook the work of compiling and publishing this set called the Great Books of the Western World in 1952, they embarked on a pretty ambitious and probably quite expensive side project to write what's called the Syntopicon. Now, the Syntopicon occupies volumes 2 and 3 of the commercially successful set of books, and its goal is really to summarize 102 ideas that are core to Western thought. So, though there are many more ideas that could be unique or at least holds special significance within Western thought, he really boiled it down to 102 core ideas at the time, which of course is going to be controversial, but they already occupy, as you can see, 102 ideas already occupies 2 quite large volumes in the set. Actually, they're the largest volumes in the Great Books of the Western World set, so who can blame him for limiting it at some point. I really don't think that initial buyers, and really most buyers of the set, really pay much attention to the Syntopicon. Most saw the set as a fairly economical investment in a fairly compact library containing all the great timeless works. The Syntopicon it draws from many of the philosophers, theologians, and scientists that are represented in the set, and it summarizes the highlights of the Western thought on each of those ideas. The ideas are arranged alphabetically, and they're explained in terms of their development through the various authors sampled in the Great Books of the Western World. So I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. But first I want to quote Adler on the aim of the Syntopicon. So according to Adler, who was the number 2 in terms of the overall project called the Great Books of the Western World, but he was directly in charge of the Syntopicon project, and he actually led a small team to do it. As you can see by the sheer volume of it, it's not something one person could easily tackle, especially in the short amount of time which they really accomplished it in. So according to Adler, quote, "The various uses of the Syntopicon all derive from its primary purpose to serve as a guide to the reading of the great books of the Western world as a unified whole." He continues further, "It tries to show the many strands of this conversation between the greatest minds of Western civilization on the themes which have concerned men in every epoch, and which cover the whole range of man's speculative inquiries and practical interests." He finally concludes, quote, "It reveals the unity and continuity of the Western tradition," end quote. So briefly, the structure of the Syntopicon is basically 102 chapters, one for each idea. But each chapter consists of 5 parts. One, an introduction, which is a very essay, is the format of an essay basically, or perhaps a lecture. Number 2 is an outline of topics, which just summarizes the main kind of sub-ideas within the main idea. 3, there's references. 4, cross-references, both of which are significant lists and worth checking out. And then 5 is additional readings. So one thing about the Syntopicon is at first, it does largely interconnect the ideas within the great books of the Western world. So it's largely self-contained in that most of its references are to other books in the set. However, additional readings does point you toward things outside of the set, which is understandable because these ideas, of course, are far more broad and far-ranging than what's simply included on 2 shelves of a bookshelf. But anyway, so let's get into how to use the Syntopicon, because Mortimer Adler kind of summarized 4 different ways that it can be used, and that he at least thought it should be used. And so first, I've encountered some people who have read through the Syntopicon just like any other book, just cover to cover. It's not generally a book that really lends itself to that type of reading. It's sort of like reading an encyclopedia. I'd say slightly more entertaining than that. But the Syntopicon, as described by its authors, may be used in 4 main ways. 1, as a reference work. 2, as a book to be read. That's what I was talking about, as reading it cover to cover. 3, as an instrument of a liberal education. And 4, as an instrument of discovery and research. And you might say, well, number 1, 3, and 4 kind of sound very similar, but I'll explain a little bit more how Adler explained it. So number 1 is a reference book. The Syntopicon answers the primary question: what do the great books have to say on this subject? So, for example, the first chapter is angels. What do the great books have to say on angels? And then it points you to all the various main ideas of the development of the idea of angels through the great works. Now, it is not necessarily a reflection of what is true, but what past writers have thought to be true. In this vein of thought, the Syntopicon is kind of unique in its likelihood to raise more questions than it answers for the reader regarding questions about the great ideas. So it's not giving you the answer, it's giving you what other people have thought the answer is. So, quote, "The Syntopicon helps the reader discover the answer for himself by a syntopical reading of the great books in the light of the topics and guided by the references assembled under them. This fact distinguishes the Syntopicon from all other familiar reference books, which contain within themselves the answers to the questions of which they are consulted. The Syntopicon does not contain the answers, but only a guide to where the answers can be found in the pages of the great books." End quote. So, although he's saying it's like a reference book, he's saying it doesn't actually give you the answer like a reference book would, like a dictionary would give you the meaning of a word, and that's the end of that discussion. At least at first glance. But what this does, it points you to other places where you can explore the answer for yourself. Now further, the Syntopicon serves as a type of ideological map. So it's a guide to a syntopical reading, which means somewhat thematic in reading of the great books. Now in this function, the work transforms the great books into, quote, "a new kind of encyclopedic whole, a new kind of reference library, in the realm of thought and opinion," end quote. Those are the words, again, of Adler himself. Now, the Syntopicon is not merely an encyclopedia of ideas. The authors point out that although the dictionary concerns the sphere of language, and the general encyclopedia concerns the sphere of fact, the Syntopicon concerns the sphere of ideas, comprehending the wisdom and understanding accumulated thus far in the major fields of inquiry. Now, such three works together then form a triad of basic references that one could employ in their library. So what he's saying is that, this is just another book. I wouldn't say just, but it's another book to add to your dictionary and your encyclopedia on your shelf, because this is the book that's going to cover ideas in themselves. Now, while the Syntopicon mainly answers the question of one, what do the great books have to say on this subject, it also answers at least 4 additional questions according to Adler. The second question would be, 2, what themes have been discussed in the tradition of Western thought under this idea? The third question would be, what books other than those published in this set contain important discussions of this idea? And that will be answered by that additional readings section within each chapter. And 4, what is the history of the idea, its various meanings, and the problems or controversies it has raised? That's a huge question to have answered, and can only really probably be answered by a lot of reading with the references and cross the references in the chapters. So, what's the second way to use the Syntopicon? It's as a book to be read, simply cover to cover in itself. In its most simplistic function, the Syntopicon can be thought of as 102 essays. That's how I would look at it if you want to read it that way, which I have heard some people do. And it can really be read in any order. The order is simply alphabetical. There's really no reason to do that. Maybe one suggested way to do it be maybe read, maybe say theological topics together, and then more strictly philosophical, even though the distinction is not quite clear. But something along this. So maybe group the ideas into themes and then read through those themes would be a sensible way to tackle it in that way. Reading it cover to cover might just be easier for bookkeeping, but it really doesn't matter in terms of the order, whether you read angels before any other idea. Now, while such an approach to the Syntopicon is uncommon, I've heard of those who read it in just this way, albeit with mixed reports really about on the usefulness of such a reading. So I have actually heard people say, I did it, and I didn't really find it that interesting or fruitful. So take that with a grain of salt. It just kind of depends on what kind of reader you are, in my opinion. Now, third is as an instrument of liberal education. So the Syntopicon may be used as a tool for education. And you might first be thinking, well, yeah, that's just a reference book. And I somewhat agree. But as the way Adler's putting it, I think he really wanted to gear it toward maybe some of the classical schools at the time. So he describes it as an intellectual instrument that may be used in a course of study on a particular subject. So in this way, you're coupling this reference work with your course of study on another subject. And that subject will overlap with these 102 ideas, or a subset of them in some unique way, unique to that course. So if you're, in some sort of history of mathematics course, you might look to the ideas that have a more mathematical or logical nature, for example. If you're in a course of theology, you might look toward those that are geared more toward theology. And so you can use it as a tool to quickly connect yourself to these big ideas, which are, of course, interwoven to the courses one might be taking. So it's a great launching point toward where to read these first-hand sources, which are the great books, or even those outside of the great books. So I view it as using it as a launching point. The Syntopicon is going to point you to all the places where you're going to look for those specific ideas in the literature. So in this way, the Syntopicon serves as an obvious choice in the study of each idea, or in the history of ideas, or in a more general study of the development of the Western world, particularly in its intellectual movements. So lastly, Adler pointed out that the Syntopicon can be used as an instrument of discovery and research. Now, with the Syntopicon as a guide, the astute researcher may trace the trajectories of ideas, pulling at the threads that have woven the rich intellectual tradition of the Western world. Now, given the nature of research, of course, the Syntopicon will not alone yield the answers to the questions of whatever you're trying to answer. So this could be in a somewhat academic setting where you're trying to pursue, so maybe someone's writing a thesis on some development of some idea over time in the West. This will be a useful tool for your research. So in the number 3 was really geared toward how it connects to a course that has a given trajectory and kind of known endpoint, at least in terms of the ideas it's going to cover. Number 4, as an instrument of discovery and research, you're really looking at unanswered questions that this will help you discover. So it'll serve as this launching point to steer you in a profitable direction within the great books, knowing that you might not reach a definite answer. So those are the 4 main ways to use the Syntopicon. Again, it's as a reference book. I think that's the most obvious use case. 2, as a book simply to be read, say as a collection of essays. 3, as an instrument of your education to augment your course of study on a given subject. And 4th, as an instrument of discovery and research, so to help you pursue those unanswered questions, perhaps in an academic or maybe just in a personal setting. Now, the Syntopicon deserves much more notoriety than it yet holds, in my opinion. I've heard some people say it's really just like some of the books of law that describe concepts in law, and it's really nothing more than that, but I really think it is much broader than that, because the concepts are not limited to those found in law. As far as I know, books on law don't go through a description of the idea of God or angels. The Syntopicon does address those larger concepts within Western civilization. So I think it deserves a higher place on the bookshelf than it yet holds. And it's a very useful thing to have on any modern shelf for anyone interested in studying ideas in themselves. Now, beyond its 4 functions described, it is a testament to the incredible work, really, of the Hutchinson, Adler, and the entire Britannica team who spent countless hours researching this. Just open it up briefly and look at the number of references, and you'll be blown away that they did this in a time without the convenience of computers. So anyway, thanks for watching. If you like this content, be sure to like and subscribe for more things. We're going to be talking more about the great books in the future, but also going to more larger concepts within Western civilization and its history. We are quickly growing on Twitter and X, so be sure to check us out there. We've really, got a surprising amount of growth there. Let's say it that way. And lastly, if you want to read some of our articles, which is usually the starting point for most of our ideas and videos, be sure to check out ThinkingWest.com. We can read between the various authors that we all work together there on this project. And our goal overall is to, reawaken the great conversation in the digital age by talking about all things about the books themselves, the history through which they were developed, and the broader ideas of Western civilization. If that's your thing, be sure to check us out. I'll catch you next time.